Brooklyn Park Police arrested a man they say tried to burn down a house this week. Firefighters responded to a home near 6500 Georgia Avenue North just before 4 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. The fire had destroyed the garage and started to spread into the home. Firefighters were able to save a majority of the home's living space. The fire marshal said the investigation into what started the fire continues, but police have arrested a man on suspicion of arson. Nobody was hurt during the incident. A Maple Grove woman has died after a crash involving a garbage truck. Minnetonka police responded just after 3 o'clock Monday afternoon to the crash on Plymouth Road, north of Interstate 394. Police say a garbage truck had rolled on its side following a collision with an SUV. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner says the SUV's driver, 78-year-old Colleen Lamberton of Maple Grove, died from injuries sustained in the crash. Police say the truck driver had minor injuries. The cause of the crash is unknown, but police do say that they believe it was an accident. Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, more than 7 million Ukrainians have fled their country. Nearly 1,000 of those have resettled in Minnesota on a 2-year visa program. One of the families now lives in Brooklyn Park. Delane Cleveland has more on what some local folks are doing to help that family feel at home.
Nastya Holyuk is a fun-loving, bike-riding 11-year-old girl. Her twin sister Elisa can be described in much the same way, although the whole bike-riding concept hasn't caught on just yet. But the fact that these girls are riding bikes down a Brooklyn Park street is a minor miracle in and of itself.
When we saw what was happening in Ukraine, we really wanted to do something to help in some way.
Mark and Sharon Norlander worked with the local nonprofit Alight to bring the entire Holyuk family to Minnesota after the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
We're vetted and they're vetted, and then there's a process where you're matched with a family. And this was the first family that we connected with, and we thought it was a great match.
The family of 5 came here last September.
So we had to worry about clothing and food and shelter, so we took care of a lot of the immediate needs.
And the Norlanders have helped them transition to life in Minnesota every step of the way.
The fact that they live so close to us and that we're retired makes it really easy for us to change our schedules around to be available to help where needed. And certainly our lives are enriched.
The Holyuks are slowly but surely adjusting to life in this new country.
Oh, Minnesota, it's a great place. We have many park, playgrounds.
Yet Sharon still wanted something more for the girls to help them settle in. She found an organization that refurbishes bicycles and gives them to kids in need.
So I was hoping that the Holyuks would be a recipient of a bike from this organization, but I needed someone to be our sponsor to ask for the bikes from this organization. So I contacted the Brooklyn Park Police.
This is going to take some time, Mom.
Instead, the department did something better. In mid-April, Brooklyn Park Police gave the Holyuk twins brand new bicycles. Several cadets even spent some time teaching the girls how to ride.
The children have fun time with bikes. It's cool.
Now, with summer almost here, the girls will have plenty of reasons to get outside. And maybe, just maybe, Elisa will get the proper riding technique down pat.
They're getting there. They're making progress.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Voters in Brooklyn Park's West District have spoken. Candidates Tony McGarvey and Daniel Goba will move ahead from this week's primary election to a general election August 8th. McGarvey led the field with nearly 300 votes. Goba was second with 89 votes. And Yelena Kurdiamova came in with 41 votes in third place. The West District seat has been vacant since Susan Pa was elected to the Minnesota Senate. Osseo City Council member Harold Johnson resigned his seat this week. The resignation follows a tense discussion of the city's 150th anniversary celebration. Johnson's council colleagues accused him of creating an unsanctioned committee to plan the celebration and of violating open meeting laws. Johnson said city staff members were not taking adequate steps to plan the celebration, and his independent committee did not need city council approval. Johnson ultimately walked out of that city council meeting and that discussion. His council term expires at the end of next year. Council will fill his vacant seat by appointment. Eligible residents can submit a letter of interest to the city by noon on May 17th. The state has awarded funding to a business that plans to create a new global headquarters in Maple Grove. Nextern is planning to take over space on Fountains Drive near Costco. Nextern develops and manufactures medical devices. The proposed $25 million development is expected to create 75 high-paying jobs. Nextern is currently based in White Bear Lake with operations across the Twin Cities region. The company would receive more than $1 million from the state to help with that expansion. The Maple Grove Government Center is filled with art thanks to students in the Osseo School District. The exhibit features dozens of works by students of all grades. The Maple Grove Art Center helped put on the display, which includes a variety of paintings, sculptures, and photographs. Also, 11 lucky Osseo District students are vying for a scholarship.
The Jacob Beneke Scholarship Award is awarded to a 12th grader who is intending to go on to college or another further education institution to study art as their main subject.
A celebration and award ceremony for the students at the Maple Grove Government Center is Wednesday, May 17th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. when the winner of the scholarship will be announced.
After a near miss a year ago, boys volleyball was voted in as an official varsity sport by the Minnesota State High School League's Representative Assembly. That is for the 2024-25 school year. Jay Wilcox got reaction from a local school's club team.
It was business as usual at this boys volleyball match between Osseo and Rogers, but with a twist. The players had learned earlier in the day that their sport had been approved as a full varsity sport starting in the 2024-25 school year.
I didn't hear about it until after I got home. My sister actually told me that it became a sanctioned sport, which of course I'm glad, but obviously I'm a bit envious because I couldn't participate when it is a sanctioned sport as I'm a senior and I'm graduating this year.
I was pretty excited. Like last year I was pretty bummed out when it wasn't like considered a sport. I was like, man, boys volleyball is like really cool, and I wish like schools would like recognize it so then it gets more popularity so kids could like actually come to our game and support us.
That cloud of uncertainty has been removed, and we know that boys volleyball is here to stay and that we're building a program that is going to be a part of the fabric of boys sports.
After falling one vote short of passing last year, the Minnesota State High School League's Representative Assembly passed the measure to add boys volleyball by a 39-7 vote. There are some logistical concerns, primarily concerning gym space and officials to work out. But Osseo Activities Director Bill Kwan, the former girls volleyball coach at the school, says those details can be worked out.
Oh, there's always concerns when it comes to gym space and time, right? If we're adding another sport, and we don't know if it's going to be spring or fall yet, but in both seasons it's definitely tight for gym space with girls volleyball and already happening in the fall, and in the spring, you know, we had a spring like we did this year, baseball, softball, they're all track, they're all inside until, 3 or 4 weeks ago, so definitely gym space is tight, but you know, you make it work.
High school boys volleyball is thriving in the northwest suburbs at Osseo and neighboring schools. So the transition to a varsity sport is the next step that they're glad to see happening.
We've really seen the growth in boys volleyball from when they first started this to almost 2,000 boys volleyball players this year. So definitely the growth and the excitement around the game, it's time for this to happen.
Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
A Maple Grove High School graduate celebrated a big moment in his professional baseball trek a few days ago, and it came right here in Minnesota.
It was another step forward in the baseball career of Isaac Collins. Last week, the 2016 Maple Grove High School graduate made his Class AAA debut for the Nashville Sounds, an affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers. Ironically, his call-up coincided with the Sounds playing a series in St. Paul against the Saints.
I checked the schedule, and first games are in St. Paul. It was just, surreal. That first night, it felt like I was going to wake up and it would just all be over, but you know, it's a reality. Here I am.
An all-state player in 2 sports at Maple Grove, his time there was followed by a good college baseball career at Creighton University. Drafted by the Colorado Rockies in 2019, it's been a journey. Through it all, the 25-year-old keeps pushing.
A lot of ups and downs, that's for sure. I mean, but that's the game. It rewards those that, you know, stick with it, you know, stick to the process. That's kind of the biggest thing. If you just do what you're supposed to do each and every day, eventually the game will reward you.
Collins still keeps a connection to Maple Grove and says he watched almost every Crimson football game last fall during the team's state championship run. And it meant a lot to him when two of his high school coaches, Adam Spurl and Matt Lombardi, came to St. Paul to catch his first ever professional game in Minnesota.
I told them, I was like, hey, I wouldn't be here without you guys. So, you know, they've helped me grow as a person, as a player, and I've been able to handle this whole, you know, professional game because of them.
John Jacobson, CCX Sports.
From Maple Grove, Minnesota.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.